Hola, estudiantes. Today we're going to talk about present tense irregular yo verbs. So make sure that you have your note guide and a pen or pencil to write with. Okay, let's talk about present tense endings. Remember, okay, your endings for AR verbs. Okay, you drop the AR and add back o, as, a, amos, on. ER verbs. You drop the ER and add o, ace, a, amos, ain. And IR verbs, you drop the IR and add o, ace, a, emos, ain. Okay, so when we talk about these irregular yo verbs, you still need to conjugate them depending on the type of verb they are. So if it's an AR verb, you're going to conjugate it and make sure that it has AR verb endings, okay? Irregular yo form verbs in the present tense are the following. Hacer, which means to do or to make, okay? It is an irregular yo only. So notice you don't say ako, you say yo hago, okay? So when you drop the ER, you also have to drop the C and then you put go on the end, okay? So you have to memorize these, and it's only in the yo form that it's weird, okay? So you would conjugate the to form, the él, ella, usted, nosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes. You would conjugate those as though it's a regular ER verb, okay? So it's the yo form you have to memorize. So yo hago means I do or I make. Poner is another irregular yo form verb, means to put, to place, or to set, okay? And notice it has an irregular yo form, which is yo pongo, and that means I put, I place, or I set. So you have to memorize these, okay? Salir is to leave or to go out. The yo form is yo salgo, I leave or I go out. Traer is to bring. Yo traigo is I bring. Decir is an E to I stem changing verb, okay, and it also is an irregular yo verb. It means to say or to tell, and yo digo means I say or I tell. Venir is an E to IE stem changing verb, means to come, so yo vengo is I come. Okay, tener, we already know, is an E to IE, and it's also an irregular yo, and we've practiced this and know this one very well. Tener means to have, and yo tengo means I have. And then the last one's a little different. Notice it doesn't have GO on the end. Dar means to give. You need to memorize yo doy means I give. Okay, so notice the first 7 above end in go in the yo form. These are also referred to as go verbs because they end in GO. All right, so all the rest of these you would conjugate as normal. The yo form is the weird part, and the verbs decir, venir, and tener are all stem changing. Okay, so you have to memorize that type. Okay, let's look at the verb hacer, which is to do or to make. Remember, hacer la tarea is to do homework, but you can also use this verb to say you make something, like you can say, I make a cake, or something like that, right? Yo hago el pastel. So notice the yo form is the weird one, and all of the rest of them are just normal conjugation. So make sure you have your note guide at this time. Pause the video and fill in the forms of the verbs hacer on your note guide for part A. Okay, so let's go through these. We have hago, haces, hace, hacemos, and hacen. Notice the rest of the verb is regular. Okay, so it's the yo form. That's weird. You have to memorize that. Okay, so poner is to put, to place, to set. Notice that the yo form is the weird one, and you conjugate the rest of the forms like a normal ER verb. So pause the video and fill in the forms of poner on your note guide. Okay, so we have pongo, pones, pone, ponemos, and ponen. Also, make sure that you're putting what the verbs mean. Notice it says, for this one in particular, it says poner and it has an equal sign, so you need to write down that that means to put, to place, or to set. If you didn't do that for hacer, make sure you put hacer means to do or to make. Okay, let's do salir. Let's mark down that that means to leave or to go out. And fill in, go ahead and pause the video and fill in the forms of salir. Okay, so we have salgo, sales, sale, salimos, and salen. Because salir is an IR verb, notice that the nosotros has IMOS. Okay, now the yo form is the only weird one, so notice the rest of the verb is just a regular conjugation for IR verbs. Okay, traer is to bring. Mark that down, and then also mark down the forms of the verb traer. Okay, so we have traigo, traes, trae, traemos, and traen. Okay, it's a regular ER verb except the weird yo. Now remember, decir is an E to I verb, so we're going to stem change that E to I in all forms except nosotros. So make sure you mark down that decir is to say or to tell, and then also write the forms. Okay, so we have digo, dices, dice, decimos, and dicen. Okay, so again, remember that this is a stem changing verb, so you have multiple things you need to do when you're conjugating decir. Venir is an E to IE verb, means to come. So pause the video, make sure you mark down what it means and all the forms. Okay, so we have vengo, vienes, viene, venimos, and vienen. So again, notice that the yo form is a go verb. And then we have to stem change E to IE in all forms except nosotros, and then conjugate it as an IR verb. Okay, and we all know tener, E to IE, means to have. So pause the video and put down your forms. Okay, we have tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, and tienen. And then the last one is dar, which means to give. Let's write down your forms of dar and what it means. Okay, so doy, das, da, damos, and dan. And remember, this one is it is considered an irregular yo verb, but it is not a go verb. Okay, practiquemos. Let's practice. It says I leave or I go out. So using your note guide, you need to locate the verb that means to leave or to go out, which is salir, and you want to put it in the yo form. Okay, so that should be salgo. You give, so to give is dar. We conjugate it in the to form, it's das. She does or she makes, okay, hacer is to do or to make, so the form here would be hace. They have, remember the verb tener is to have, and they have would be tienen, so we had to stem change E to IE. Okay, we do or we make, hacer is the verb we need, hacemos is the form. He says or he tells, okay, the verb we need here is decir. It's an E to I stem changing verb. Okay, so the form here would be dice. It looks like dice, D-I-C-E. Okay, they put, place, or set. Remember, that's poner. Okay, so if they do it, then it's ponen. I bring, to bring is traer. The yo form of traer is traigo. We do or we make. Hacer is to do or to make. So hacemos. I come. The verb venir means to come. The yo form would be vengo. Okay. You put, place, or set. Verb is poner, so it would be pones. And then the last one, you all give. Remember that dar is to give, and if it's you all, it's ustedes, so it should be dan. Okay, so this is the end of the video. Make sure that you look at the notes provided on page 277 if you have any more questions about irregular yo verbs. Don't forget to fill in the back. Part B asks you to fill in the blank with the correct verb. And I need to make sure you understand that you not only need to know how to conjugate these verbs, but you also need to know what they mean for your flipped mini quiz tomorrow. So make sure that if you need to rewatch the video, you do so. Adios.